From the bright lights of comedy clubs to picking up a guitar at home, this is a story of Nikki Glaser's unexpected journey into music. Nikki had already built a name for herself as a stand-up comedian, known for her razor-sharp wit and fearless honesty. But when the world shut down in 2020, everything changed. With the comedy clubs closed and touring halted, Nikki found herself back in her hometown, living with her parents during the early days of the pandemic. With fewer stages and fewer jokes to deliver night after night, Nikki turned inward. She rediscovered something she tucked away for years, the love of singing. According to her own words, she admitted, "I always wanted to be a singer, but comedy felt safe because I could hide behind the jokes." So she picked up a guitar. She wrote songs. She started working with a vocal coach to heal and strengthen her voice, after discovering vocal cord damage from years of performing and talking nonstop. Nikki appeared on the reality show The Masked Singer as Snowstorm. There, under disguise, she let the music speak in a different way. She later said this experience made her realize, yes, I can pursue singing. Fueled by her admiration for artists such as Kelly Clarkson, Nikki boldly declared, "I'm going to take voice lessons. I want to sound like Kelly Clarkson." Her coach replied, "You can be anything you want." In her hometown of St. Louis, she recorded a theme song for her comedy special, picking up guitar, picking up the MIC, and weaving her trademark humor into melody. So now, Nikki Glaser, the comedian who dared to change lanes and become the musician in the making. It's a journey of vulnerability, of stepping out from behind the punchlines, of singing truth she once only joked about. And one thing's clear, the stage is her home, whether comedy or song. Because at the end of the day, she's doing what she always did, finding her voice. Only now, you might hear it in a chord, not just a joke. Will she make the hit record? Time will tell. Nikki Glaser's story did not begin on stage with a microphone in her hand. It began in Cincinnati, where she was born, before her family later moved to St. Louis. Growing up, she wasn't the class clown or the loudest person in the room. Instead, she was the observer, the girl who watched people, notice their quirks, and imagine how she could turn those moments into jokes. During her teenage years, Nikki struggled with self-esteem, body image, and anxiety. These weren't just passing phases. They were battles that shape her humor and eventually the type of comedian she would become. She once described comedy as a place where she felt she could finally be honest. Nikki went on to study at the University of Kansas, majoring in English literature. It was during those years that she started performing stand-up comedy seriously. She wrote jokes between classes, practiced sets in bars, and spent nights reworking lines until she discovered her voice. College wasn't just a place of learning for her. It was where the seed of her comedy career took root. By her early 20s, Nikki was already getting attention. She performed on Last Comic Standing, which opened doors, but it was her raw, fearless humor that made audiences remember her. She talked about relationships, insecurities, awkward moments, and subjects many people were too shy to admit out loud. Her honesty made her relatable, and her delivery made her unforgettable. As the years went by, she became a regular on late-night shows, podcasts, and roasts. Her appearances on Comedy Central roasts earned her a reputation as one of the sharpest comedic voices of her generation. She roasted with precision, and people loved her for it. Nikki also launched her own successful podcasts, including You Up, and later the Nikki Glaser Podcast, where she blended humor, vulnerability, and real-life commentary. In terms of achievements, Nikki built an impressive list over the years. She headlined comedy tours across the United States, performing in major cities such as New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Miami, Seattle, Houston, and many more. Her tours even expanded to international audiences, taking her comedy to Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and parts of Europe. Whether in clubs or theaters, her presence filled the room. Nikki released comedy specials including Perfect, Banjin, and Good Clean Filth, each earning high praise and millions of views. Her special Banjin became one of Netflix's most-watched comedy specials that year. She also hosted reality shows, appeared in movies, and voiced characters on animated series. Despite her achievements, Nikki never lost touch with where she came from. She often joked that she still saw herself as the awkward girl trying to figure life out. That humility became part of her charm. When it comes to her relationship status, Nikki has always been open about the chaos and comedy of her love life. She has shared stories of heartbreak, situationships, dating struggles, and the search for the right person. At different times, she has been in relationships, taken breaks, and focused on personal growth. Her honesty about love is one reason fans connect with her deeply. While she has dated publicly in the past, Nikki currently keeps her dating life private, choosing instead to focus on her career, music, and well-being. Nikki has also spoken openly about mental health, sobriety, and personal healing. She quit drinking and often credits sobriety for giving her clarity, drive, and emotional stability. That clarity later pushed her into exploring music, something she once hid from because she felt vulnerable singing in front of people. Her evolution from comedian to musician doesn't mean she's leaving comedy behind. It means she's expanding, stretching herself, exploring new forms of expression. She's proving that a person can excel in one art and still bravely chase another. For Nikki, comedy and music aren't separate paths. They are threads of the same creative journey. Her recent comedy tours show how much she has grown. She performed to sold-out crowds in Denver, Phoenix, Minneapolis, Boston, and Nashville. She even performed in London and Dublin, where international audiences embraced her humor with enthusiasm. Her shows became more than jokes. They became conversations, reflections, and moments of connection. As she steps deeper into her musical chapter, she carries all her history with her. The girl who struggled, the student who studied words, the comedian who sharpened her tongue, the podcaster who shared her truth, and now the woman who sings with the same fearless honesty she once saved for the stage. Nikki Glaser is an artist in motion, constantly evolving, constantly discovering the next version of herself. Her story reminds us that dreams don't have deadlines, passions don't expire, and reinvention is always possible. So now, Nikki Glaser, the comedian who dared to change lanes and become the musician in the making. It's a journey of vulnerability, of stepping out from behind the punchlines, of singing truth she once only joked about. And one thing's clear, the stage is her home, whether comedy or song. Because at the end of the day, she's doing what she always did, finding her voice. Only now, you might hear it in a chord, not just a joke. Will she make the hit record? Time will tell. Hit the like button if you're rooting for Nikki's musical chapter, and drop a comment. Which comedian would you love to see turn into a singer next? Tonight on November 8th, 2025, Saturday Night Live welcomed Nikki Glaser for her hosting debut, and she didn't simply show up for the gig. She arrived like someone who has spent years preparing for the moment without even realizing it. The bright lights hit, the audience buzzed with energy, and Nikki did what she always does best. She took control of the room with humor sharp enough to cut right through the anticipation. From her opening monologue to the final sketch of the night, her presence wrapped the entire episode in a sense of confidence, fun, and unpredictability. The monologue set the tone instantly. Nikki brought the same rhythm she uses on stage during her stand-up shows, blending clever observational humor with personal honesty. She joked about spray tans, the height difference between her and her boyfriend, and leaned into a self-aware bit about her so-called resting Ghislaine face, showing that she had no intention of softening her edge for national television. The crowd wasn't just laughing, they were fully locked in. This was the kind of monologue that comes from someone who has spent years crafting her voice, refining her delivery, and learning how to ride the energy of a live audience. With each line, the message became clear. Nikki was here to host, but more importantly, she was here to own the stage. As the show transitioned into sketches, Nikki didn't just participate, she blended into each one like a performer who had been part of the cast for years. Her ability to step into character, change her tone, and play with absurdity made each moment stand out. In the karaoke night sketch, she played a sister singing far too intimately with her brother during a duet. The awkward closeness, exaggerated affection, and uncomfortable pauses added up to one of the night's loudest laughs. Nikki leaned into the strange dynamics without hesitation, proving that she can take a ridiculous premise and push it to its comedic limits. Another highlight of the night came in the Spirit Tunnel Anxiety sketch, where she tapped into the kind of nervousness that hits right when you're about to be on live television and everything suddenly feels too real. The sketch captured that exact moment when excitement turns into panic, and Nikki's performance turned the tension into a hilarious spiral that viewers could relate to on a deeply human level. The way she managed to act frazzled, confident, and funny all at once showed her range, reminding audiences that she isn't just a stand-up comic. She's a performer who adapts to whatever the scene demands. Then came the twist-filled parody, Beauty and Mr. Beast, when Nikki stepped into the role of Belle. This wasn't the traditional fairy tale portrayal. Instead, it was a modern, social media-influenced flip on the classic story, where Belle finds herself in a world shaped by a YouTube personality instead of a cursed castle. Nikki brought charm to the role, along with a playful understanding of internet culture. Her ability to balance whimsy with sarcasm made the sketch feel fresh and clever, the kind of parody viewers expect from SNL at its best. The musical energy of the night came from Somba, the episode's featured artist. He delivered 2 performances that mixed synth-pop, funk, and vintage electronic vibes. His songs 12 to 12 and Back to Friends added a cool, modern aesthetic to the episode. What made this pairing work was a shared vibe between Nikki's energy and Somba's sound. Both brought confidence, freshness, and an ability to keep the audience guessing. His presence amplified the episode without overshadowing Nikki, creating a seamless flow between comedy and music. What made this episode feel special was the sense that it marked a turning point. Nikki didn't approach the show as a guest simply passing through. She approached it as an artist who has earned her place in one of the greatest comedy institutions. Every sketch she touched became a little brighter, a little wilder, and a little more memorable because she brought her authentic personality into it. Hosting SNL is a milestone in any comedian's career, but for Nikki, it felt like a natural extension of the evolution she has been building for years. This episode also highlighted how versatile she has become. Her stand-up career made her a household name, but her growth into podcasting, acting, reality show appearances, and now music shows that she's far more than a single-lane performer. Her SNL debut felt like a crowning moment, the kind of event where fans get to see an artist step confidently into a new chapter and prove they can handle any stage, any camera, and any challenge. For viewers who have followed Nikki's journey through comedy specials, roasts, talk shows, and now even a budding music path, tonight's performance was emotional in its own way. It was a reminder of how persistence pays off. It showed what happens when someone stays true to themselves, even when opportunities shift, evolve, or take unexpected turns. Nikki's SNL night was filled with bold choices, smart execution, and a steady thread of authenticity. The episode had momentum from start to finish. Whether she was singing, acting, improvising, or breaking into the kind of expressions that only live comedy can inspire, Nikki delivered a performance with personality and impact. It felt like she was sending a message to both fans and future viewers. This is what it looks like when a comedian embraces every corner of the spotlight. If you're watching this breakdown and appreciating the energy Nikki brought, the sketches she carried, and the musical spark Somba added, make sure to leave a comment about which moment stood out most for you. Whether it was a monologue, the awkward karaoke duet, the flip fairy tale, or that chaotic tunnel of anxiety, your thoughts help shape community we're building here. Nikki Glaser's journey reminds us that it is never too late to chase a dream you once pushed aside. She went from owning the comedy stage to learning guitar quietly at home, starting again from zero. She felt fear, doubt, and uncertainty, yet she still moved forward. That is the heart of her story. Real growth begins when life slows down and you finally hear your own voice. Nikki didn't wait for perfect timing or perfect confidence. She simply tried. She took voice lessons, trusted her curiosity, and allowed herself to explore a new version of who she could be. Because she dared to start, she found a passion she once hid from. Let her journey encourage you. If you've been sitting on a dream, this is your reminder to take the first step. You don't need approval. You just need courage. Progress begins with one choice. Like the video to show support. Share it if you enjoy these kinds of recaps. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell so you're always updated when we release new breakdowns, highlights, and deep dives into your favorite artists, shows, and unforgettable performances. Let's keep growing together. Thank you for watching.